Hello and welcome. This is Japan, and we got a SmackDown review from the 16th of May. It's been a little bit since I've gotten to the SmackDown reviews. I always end up, well, I was out of town for Backlash last week, and then I think I got the week before that, but it always seems like I miss one or two because it's weird to like record on Friday. I normally do my recording at the beginning of the week. It's just a weird thing. But this one was too good not to do a video on, so let's just jump right into it. So, right off the bat, we had Solo Jacob and the new, I was gonna say Jeff Cobb, but like JC Mateo. I don't know if I like that name. I don't know. Maybe it's something more close to him and stuff. I mean, I guess I'm gonna probably call him the wrong name for a little bit until I get used to it. But it was a pretty decent promo. Solo kind of stealing a little bit of Jacob's lines and stuff, which Jacob wasn't having. I think their rivalry at one point will be, I think, legendary for both of them. And I really hope that they have Solo take off the title of Jacob at some point. I think that's kind of what they're building at, and I'd be cool with it. I mean, they've really have made this a pretty interesting storyline that's like bloodline adjacent, I guess. But I say overall, the segment was a B. I thought it was pretty solid. Good way to start off the show. Next up, we had the first qualifying match for the Money in the Bank. Money in the Bank is just one of my favorite PLEs, so this is the season for me. But we had Alexa Bliss versus Meacham versus Chelsea Green. And honestly, I mean, I was hoping Alexa Bliss was going to make it, but I was pretty happy with either any of them, honestly. But I really expected that there could have been a chance that Chelsea Green won. I thought the match itself was pretty solid. They had some really good back and forth. Everybody looked good, which is always kind of a hard thing sometimes with triple threats, but I think this was a very good match. I'd put it up into B. Everything pretty much B and above is always good in my book. Next up, we had DIY versus Fraxium. Now, my only gripe about this match is that Fraxium sometimes moves way too fast that they make little slip ups, but they're just so good on everything else. I really like them as a tag team. They are obviously one of the I think they were number two in the best tag teams of like all time last year, like of last year. But man, they're showing that they deserve to take these titles off of Street Profits next week. I don't know if they will, but I would not be sad about it because they're putting on absolute banger after banger. I put this up in S tier. I think I'm a little biased, but I really feel like the very small mess ups that they did have just get completely blown out of the water with all the crazy stuff they do. And they just feel like they bring out a little bit extra level for whoever they're facing also because they sell really well and make them look really good. So, I mean, I'm going to put this up on Nest here. Next up, we had the R-Truth interview talking that he needs to snap Cena back to reality. It's a fun little feud that they have. A lot of people aren't going to really like this feud, but I think it's perfectly fine. I don't think we're going to see five-star wrestling at Saturday Night Main Event, but I think it's an interesting line for John Cena's retirement and stuff. So I like this. I like this as a match that they are having come up. So I put it up in. I'm gonna put it in S tier. I think it's gonna be maybe A. I'm gonna put it A. I don't think the match is gonna be good, so it kind of sucks to have a PLE spot, but I'm cool with it for the story, so I'll put it up in A. Next up, we had Mello and Malachi Black, Aleister Black. I'm always gonna get that wrong. Another phenomenal match between these two. I was thinking we might get like the best seven with them, but it seems like that's going to be kind of switched. I think this might just be the ending, and then they're going to have Alistair in the next not fatal triple threat for the Money Bank qualifier. He goes against Shinsuke Nakamura and LA Knight, and it looks like Shinsuke Nakamura is kind of targeting Malachi Black. Malachi Black absolutely want Aleister Black. Man, I'm always going to get that name wrong. This match in particular, I thought was pretty good. Kind of got messy at the end with The Miz, kind of trying to help, but then, gets the DQ to do it, I guess, to save Mello. I don't really understand why you wanted to get the DQ there. It felt like probably wasn't the best idea, but that's wrestling. I put this up in A. Match was really good. Next up, we had the news that Julia's joined SmackDown. This is absolutely phenomenal. She's going to be so good in this division. This is exactly what the SmackDown women's division needed. I think I'm probably going to do a video on what they should be doing, but I honestly think she needs to be like belt, not the top title. I think the U.S. title. I think she should take it off Zelina Vega at some point in the very near future. Like, at least let Zelina defend it at least another time. But I definitely think Julia should be like on that top list to going up there. I'm putting it up in S tier. I think it's gonna be perfect. Now, if they put Roxanne on Raw, I think that'd be even better because having both of them just on separate divisions will be great, and they'll just immediately just eject that star power into great divisions. Next up, we had a couple different segments. We had a Damian Priest segment talking about Drew McIntyre talking about Damian Priest. I think altogether those two segments were pretty good. I mean, this feud's been a long time coming and long time going, so it's a little stalish for me. I think this is the end of it, so I'm not completely upset. I think the segments themselves were pretty solid, so I put it up in A. And then the match that they're gonna have a Saturday Night Main Event in the cage, I think will be good. I think it's a solid ending to their rivalry, and we'll see who it finishes it out. I do believe it's going to be Drew McIntyre, and I think Drew McIntyre will then go back to feuding with Jacob Fatu or something like that. I think it will be a pretty good idea. But overall, I'm still invested in this feud, but I definitely feel like this should be the ending, and I'd be completely happy with that. Then we had the men's qualifying match, which was Jimmy Uso, Rey Fenix, and Solo Sikoa. This is another match that I was just like, I'm happy for anybody winning here. I kind of really wanted it to be Big Jim. I just felt like a little bit of a mini push for Jimmy in his solo career would have been a pretty cool thing. Obviously, Rey Fenix would have been a great choice for the match itself. I think he could have done some really crazy, cool stuff. But obviously, we didn't get that, and we got Solo winning, which I'm not really upset with. I mean, I feel like Solo with Money in the Bank could even be a decent idea. I think he's going to have some shenanigans with having, maybe Jacob Fatu and JC Mateo come in there and maybe help him and stuff. So we could see a cluster of a bunch of stuff happening. So I don't think it'll be too bad. I think the match itself, I honestly thought was pretty good. I think there was some really good some back and forth here, and I was fully invested. I think everybody looked pretty decent. I think Jimmy probably had like the worst go of it, but he also kind of like was targeted a little bit by Solo in the outside help. So I think if you put all that into perspective, it kind of made him not look that bad. I put up an A. I thought it was a solid match. Next up, we had a impromptu match, but it was Jeff Cobb's debut, or JC Mateo versus LA Knight. Honestly, I kind of was surprised that, like, I mean, it's like I figured he's got to get the win, but taking it on LA Knight is kind of crazy. That's why I kind of think LA Knight is going to win that qualifying match because it'd be like a good give and take. But I thought it was pretty good. The only thing I would say about this type of match is at least these two guys together, it was just a lot of like lifting on Mateo's part, which is what he's good at. I mean, he has some really good slams, some really like the good scoops and stuff. So I don't think it was too bad. I just think with like LA Knight, he didn't have like a flash around him as much. I think it was just kind of impromptu. It kind of felt like the match was like that too. I still thought it was pretty solid. I liked it on the show. It was a good opening match, or like debut match for JC. I'll put it up in B, but I mean, look at this card so far. Nothing below a B is always great. And then we had the finale, Tiffany versus Nia Jax. Honestly, I was like not super pumped for this because I kind of thought this should have fell to Saturday Night Main Event, and we might get something similar or different there. I'm not sure exactly, but I really felt like that this match should have been put there. I thought it did pretty good. Obviously, there was just some really good stuff for Tiffany. At first, it really felt like she was struggling to like us to be like, okay, well, she's kind of just not been able to get through the Nia Jax, but I think she had some pretty decent moves by the end of it to kind of show. I just like her being like a tougher champion because she has like cashing in that Money in the Bank kind of already puts you into a thing where you didn't like truly win it. So like I feel like that type of thing you kind of have to have a little bit of dominancy, and I just wish they would give her one dominant like defense. Obviously, Nia Jax probably isn't the best case, but there should have been somebody in between now and whenever she defends it next that she should have a little mini feud and destroy somebody and look really good. And it would be cool because obviously she's a champion and stuff. And that bust up where she kicked the chair into Nia Jax and busted her open was pretty crazy. I don't think it was meant to be that, but it did definitely add to the match. I enjoyed it a lot. I thought the match itself was pretty good. I probably put like the match like in skill, it was probably like an A, but the story and everything that they did with it, I'd put up probably towards the S. Now, if this is the end of their rivalry and their stuff, I'm cool with that. If we're gonna have more of this, I feel like this wasn't necessarily, like the best way to like continue it. But again, I thought it was pretty good. Good way to finish off the show. I'd put it up in S tier. Obviously, the show I thought was pretty good. I probably put it like an A. Um, A, maybe A plus. I don't know, man. It was just really good. There was a lot of good storyline that came from it. It was a very important SmackDown too. Like obviously these Money in the Bank qualifying matches are always good, but each one of these segments and everything that was in it had like a bigger, thing, because like the tag match, obviously with Axiom winning, they're gonna get a team title opportunity against the Street Profits next week. Julia coming in is going to change the landscape. The title defense would pretty much end this rivalry more than likely, but also there was Naomi and Jade Cargill were involved a little bit, so there's more coming from that. I feel like we might have a Naomi versus Tiffany at Saturday Night Main Event, which would still be really cool. Obviously, like all these other stuff, so everything just keeps building on it. And I think SmackDown's in a really good position, which it's not been in a lot of years, especially with no Cody Rhodes and no John Cena. Like that's kind of crazy that they're still doing it. Not even Randy Orton. We didn't even have Randy Orton. So that's three big people that they have off their roster right now, not on the show. So there's a lot of people carrying, and I think it's doing really good. So I put this episode pretty high. But yeah, if you guys enjoy these, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm gonna be doing a little bit of other content. I have some like WNBA stuff I kind of want to put on here, and we'll see how that goes. But wrestling will still always be the main thing here, and it won't change up any of the uploads or anything. It'll just be extra stuff. But until next time, this has been Japan, and I'll see you on the next episode. Bye, guys.